Hello, my true crime lovelies. How are you? Hi, Queen Olive Ruthin. If you can hear me, let me know where you're coming in from. I just want to make sure that I'm heard. I I wanted to share. I got some documents, and I know if you were on the last live, you would have seen we went over the how Sarah was in close management and what the documentation said about close management. And I kept asking, like, did she get close management because of just her 16 days or because of everything? And you guys were like, because of everything. And so I did get intake forms and I wanted to share those with you guys, like what the intake process is there and what how they go through the classification, because I thought it was interesting. So hopefully you guys will too. Let me share this other screen. Sorry, how are you guys doing? Morning. Where are you, Claudette? Good morning. Okay. What have we got? Yeah, you guys can see that. All right. So this is intake and inmate identification. And we've got purpose to establish guidelines for reception centers to determine the sufficiency of court commitment documents in order to accept an offender into the correctional system, and to provide guidelines for researching the department's offender information system to correctly identify and receive inmates into the system. Imagine if there was like an identity issue in there. Somebody else is doing somebody else's time. Commitment documentation, where used herein, refers to the set of documents that Section 944.17 mandates must be sent to the department along with the committed offender. I think this is the packet. If you guys remember on the docket, it was said something about her commitment packet. I think this is it. It had to go with her, and they entered it on the record. We couldn't see what it was, but it was a document, a packet was referenced. Movement codes, where used herein, refers to the computer codes a reception center is required to enter upon receipt of an offender. That will establish whether the offender is being received as A, supervision violator, B, escapee, or C, new commitment. Oh my God. Yeah, you would want to know if you got a runner. So, and then it just goes into their responsibilities. We get to their initial intake. So they're basically going through all of their paperwork, making sure they have the right person, the right sentence, and that everything is correct, that they've actually been adjudicated guilty. If it was withheld, you can't receive them. It's really interesting. And then certificate. But basically, I don't know, it's kind of like a chain of custody, but of a human. Well, I guess it is. They have custody of them. Yeah. It's like they're documenting it all. And they've got this checklist, but I want to show you guys this other one, which is the classification one. Did that come up? Yeah. Okay. So initial classification, which is what we know Ms. Boon just went through. Purpose: to provide for a reception process that includes diagnostic and assessment guidelines for analyzing the needs of each inmate, to make sure inmates are assigned to the correct custody levels and placed into facilities and programs that will meet the identified needs of the individual inmate. Definitions. Admission summary, where used herein, refers to the completed electronic computer-assisted reception process report. Say that 3 times fast. Compiled during reception processing, which contains all of the collected information. Aliens, that's not applicable. Biometric identification system, where used herein, refers to a system which verifies inmates' identification, generates a printout of the inmate's criminal history, submits the fingerprints, which I'm wondering, is that the fingerprints that are taken at verdict? What are those? Is that, do you guys know? Is that when they're coming into, because I see that in all of their cases, like right after. Okay, commitment papers, where used herein, refers to the set of documents received, normally by way of the sheriff or chief of security. Corrections integrated needs assessment. The department's risk and needs assessment that incorporates a system-wide network of policies, interviewing techniques, and screenings. Designed to identify risk factors for criminal behavior and address those factors through evidence-driven programs and interventions to reduce the risk of continued criminality. Okay. CNIS is an end-to-end correctional system assessing the individual at his or her entry point, whether community supervision or incarceration, and creates continuity between case management and services. Okay, fair enough, because you'll have different providers, especially if you have life. There's going to be different people on your case. And so everything is in the system, it sounds like, so that people can see. Kind of like, I wish, when you call somewhere for customer service and you told them what your problem was, and then they transfer you, and then you have to tell that person what the problem was. Like, that y'all didn't talk. No notes. Anyway, just me. Detainer, where used herein, refers to a notation recorded, placed in the files. Okay. Our friends ICT again, institutional classification team. Remember, I kept going, where's ICT? What's ICT? Okay. So the pre-sentence investigation. So she had that. I don't know if they did a post-sentence, but Kranig had asked for a pre-sentence in between verdict and sentencing. Reception centers, where used herein, refers to the specific institutions where inmates sentenced to the department are initially received from the sentencing counties, evaluated and assessed prior to a determination of permanent institutional assignment. So before you're forever home, you're coming here. These institutions are Central Florida Reception Center, Florida Women's Reception Center, Northwest Florida Reception Center, oh my God, Reception and Medical Center, and South Florida Reception Center. So they have one just for medical. So Boon is at the FWRC. Special review, we're used herein, ensure that inmates who pose a potential serious threat to other inmate staff or who pose a special risk to the security and order of facility are tracked and housed to minimize the potential conflict. Okay, yeah, we're not dealing with that. Initial intake. An inmate, this is when you first get there, accepted into the custody of the department will be processed in accordance with reception process intake and inmate identification. The inmate will be strip searched in accordance with searches of inmates. Contraband and searches of inmates. Prison grape prevention, detection, and response, and thoroughly examined for scars, tattoos. I don't know why I said it like that. Tattoos or other marks to assist in identification. Any marks discovered will be described on the OBIS physical characteristics screen. The institution, that's wow. Okay. The Institutional Security Threat Intelligence Coordinator. So that's the gangs. We will be informed of any gang related tattoos found on an inmate. Okay. The inmate will shower and be issued standard inmate clothing. Inmate's property will be recorded on an inmate property list. Unauthorized property will be stored pending final disposition as provided in Rule 33. For property being mailed, a lien will be placed on the inmate's trust fund account for postage. Property will not be mailed until the lien, you got to pay your postage. Okay. Upon receipt, an inmate will sign authorization for disposition. Okay. Receiving staff will ensure that each inmate conforms to the department's grooming standards, including removal of any body piercings. Wow. Okay. Money in the inmate's possession will be handled in accordance with control of cash and other negotiables. So I don't know why they would have money. I was thinking it would be transferred electronically since they're coming from the jail, but maybe they give it. I don't know. Inmates' fingerprints and palm prints will be captured for their biometric system. A digital photograph will be taken of each inmate within 24 hours of receipt. So that's that lovely blue backdrop photo. Hey, Deb H. Hey, Sandy. Hey, Kathleen. Yana. Happy MLK Day. So, yeah, digital photograph. Inmate will be issued a Florida Department of Corrections identification card and will be responsible for the display and proper handling of that card. That is when ish gets real. Oh, you know what? Reading all this stuff, I mean, I wasn't planning on criming before this, but this will make you rethink jaywalking. Like, I don't want to be on no wrong side of the law. Health services staff will do an initial health screening of each inmate on the first day of his or her arrival. Receiving staff will ensure each inmate is initially interviewed utilizing the OBIS to include the inmate receipt, like property, physical characteristics, and demographic data screens. Staff will provide orientation to newly received inmates in accordance with, and then they redacted all of this in my FOIA. I don't know what it was. They don't want me to know, obviously. Commitment documentation. Staff will refer to reception process, blah, blah, blah. Inmate record prep. Classification supervisor will ensure all documents are reviewed and sentence structure information is entered into the OBIS to develop the electronic record. Screening, health screening, substance use assessment in accordance with substance use screening, educational testing, inmate visiting, DNA, incarcerate. I think that you're required to submit your DNA, right? So you can go into the, oh my God, what is it called? Is it CODIS? All of these detainers, notifies, great prevention. Goodness, screening for risk of victimization. Corrections integrated needs assessment system. So inmates are assigned to a classification team on a rotating basis on the first day of arrival at a reception center. From that point, the team will be responsible for initiating and completing the accumulation of factual material necessary for the classification process. The classification officer will monitor her caseload on a weekly basis to ensure the status of each inmate, noting on the 5 weeks list any that have been at the reception center longer than 4 weeks. Oh. Okay, so maybe they aim to get them classified under 4 weeks and then flag if it's gone over. I don't know. Otherwise, why? What's the significance of 5? The initial reception and orientation of inmates will be completed within 4 weeks after admission. Oh my God. Duh. Except in unusual circumstances. The classification officer will provide to the classification supervisor no later than the close of business each Thursday, justifying the inmate's retention at the reception center. Ah, okay. So I'm where, because I feel like, didn't someone say it was like 90 days? I don't remember now. But, okay. Because 4 weeks is a month. It's like, maybe it's just 30 days. Right? Okay. If a team classification officer is absent for 3 working days or more, that team will be closed. Okay. The cases distributed on a rotating basis to a buddy team and paired as 1 and 2, 3, etc. Okay. A team may be closed up to 5 other catch-up days during the calendar year with approval. That's got to be insane. Like you're constantly rotating people through to class them, figure out what their deal is in 4 weeks. Interview all inmates assigned to her caseload, review and compare all hard copy information contained in the inmate record with the electronic record in the OBIS for accuracy, initiate a custody review, conduct the initial risk assessment, and conduct the initial corrections integrated needs assessment. So criminal history, all arrest history. So that would also be for Ms. Boon when she had the felony arrest for strangling George. So that would have been there. So it's all felonies committed in the last 5 years. Oh, maybe not. If the disposition, 5 years from where, if the disposition is not indicated or unknown, regardless of the offense level. And for any severity level 1 or 2 offense as defined by the custody system, regardless. Oh, so it would have been regardless of how long ago the arrest occurred. Circumstances and disposition will also be requested regardless of when the arrest occurred for the following offenses. Yikes. SEX offenses, acts relating to prostitution. Okay, you guys see it. Bad things. False imprisonment. Goodness gracious. In addition to requesting the disposition and circumstances for those offenses, if the charges were dropped, the reason, if available, will also be documented. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess that's fair because you could have been tampering with the witness or done something to influence the witness or threaten them, do you know? So, yeah. They're not necessarily a reliable narrator at that point, just out of fear, out of like self-preservation, not even trying to cover, just don't want to deal with it. I am freezing. Oh, Okay. Dispositions and circumstances will also be requested if the arrest occurred in the last 5 years for any offense. Okay. Comprehensive case information will be utilized in an effort to obtain dispositions and circumstances prior to requesting the information from the clerk of court, reporting agency, or community corrections staff. I guess if you, excuse me, if you're coming in like a probation violation or no, parole, they don't have parole. Never mind. Okay, if it's not found there, if the disposition and circumstances involve any of the offenses listed in Section 8B, above, classification officer will enter the information on the arrest record detail screen. Okay. Verification of social security numbers. What if they're not a US citizen? You can't have a social security number, right? Um okay. It is -6 creative minds, -6 Fahrenheit or Celsius. I know I do need a space. I'm afraid of space heaters, honestly. I'm sitting right in front of a glass wall. And I have a blackout curtain, so it's a little thicker, but it's still coming in. It's okay. I'm usually hot right here, but it snowed. So yeah. Okay. Classification supervisor will conduct a team meeting to review recommendations. What is the team doing though? Is it like a group, not a group therapy? I guess, yeah, maybe. Like they're all in group talking, rotating through that. If the inmates' program needs have been accurately evaluated and assessed, the accuracy and completeness, appropriate evaluations of any other needs of special requirements have been noted and assessed. If applicable, classification officer will ensure no youthful offenders. Inmates' permanent institutional assignment will be made at this time based on bed allocations and an evaluation of the inmate's risk, non-program needs, medical profile, including disabilities, and program needs, including reentry, if within the time frames for programming. So no, not in this case. If an inmate is reclassed to an alternate location, appropriate changes will be entered into the OBIS by the classification supervisor. Allocations, bed allocations, weekly, electronic contact log. All appropriate inmate information will be recorded onto the classification contact log. So is that every single time they make contact with the inmate, they log it? Wow. Imagine doing that at work. Like if someone was logging it, that's whoa. Predators. Special review cases. Determination of the application of this status to an inmate will be made in accordance with special review. So victim information. So that's not, I guess like the families would be considered victims, right? I guess an address for each of them. Critical case management, high profile cases, pending detainers, protection requirements, and similar serious issues will be documented. So that is a check. High-profile cases include any inmate whose release or movement would cause a high degree of interest, attention, or concern, either on a large scale or locally. Okay. Probation orders, no. Review and processing of close management and protective management inmates received at a reception center. When an inmate designated as CM, the close management status at the time of his or her release from a previous incarceration and returns to custody. Okay, that is not our situation. When an inmate designated as PM status at the time, nope. Former death row, nope. I'm gonna just skip past like what's not immediately relevant, but I know I have some nosy friends. You guys can pause it on the rewatch, I guess, and read it. So aliens, interstate agreement on detainers, transfer lists. No. Permanent party work program assignments at reception center. A permanent party inmate initially assigned to a reception center will be assigned to work and program assignments. I feel like that wasn't in close management. Permanent party inmate transfer will be processed as any other ICT recommendation for transfer and will be requested and approved in accordance with. Okay, I don't know. And that is, where are you guys? I can't see you. So look over here. So what do you guys think? I'm on the straight and narrow. That's what I'm thinking. Most will turn off if the heater starts to fall over, really. Yeah. Maybe I'll just get like a quilt over my lap. I just really I'm not keen on the space heater idea, but I'm sure they're safe. I just So what is I was so excited for her sentencing, but I can't imagine the rest of your life in prison. I know. I know. It's good Lord. Don't do crimes. Just don't. Oh my God. Or at least show remorse. I don't know. It's crazy. It was only cells because I was dreaming we know. Yeah, there are cells, and so I was in some of them. I've been doing way too much reading and research on that. There are also two-person cells in solitary, like quote unquote. I was watching Christina and I was trying to get a sense of like how, but it's just the two of them. In hers, trigger warning, she described like what do they call them? Cellies. Her cellie was finger painting with her poo. And she had to wait because there's only certain times they will open. I mean, it was, yeah, it's, don't do crimes, please. Ooh, wait, what was that about rechargeable socks? Wait, rechargeable, heatable, rechargeable socks and gloves. I love it. I'm just gonna put a blanket on. You guys are funny. It's the first time I've sat here, to be fair, in the winter like this, and it just I didn't realize it was gonna be this cold. So it's fine. I swear, if you walk to the other side of the room, it's not the case. Yeah, every time you leave, you're shackled and cuffed. So it's the algorithm knows I'm watching like prison content or post convict content, and there's more men doing it than women, but there are some women. But the thing is like the little things they talk about, like when they finally get their freedom, like just walking freely. One guy was like, he told his family not to pick him up because he just wanted to just enjoy his freedom. You know what I mean? Without like conversation or obligation. And he said just like being able to walk out and get on the bus without being shackled. I think he did 12 years. For 12 years he couldn't walk out and like oof. So yeah, it's crazy. The things that, and they're like always on alert there. How do you not get PTSD when you come out of there? Don't do crimes. Oh, I just did that one. Lots of bugs in prisons. Oh, yeah, I would hate that too. I know, Nishay, if only. Mm-mm. Yes, take a good deal when offered. Oh. Oh my God, was I shivering that much? I'm all right, you guys. Thank you. I feel so loved. Neuropathy, cured. Yes. Sarah Boone definitely deserved where she's at. Poor Brian. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Dana, I don't feel sorry for her. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to convey that about Miss Boone. I'm just like, gobsmacked at the depravity of it all. But yeah, she's where she's meant to be. I've been buying the elements and building my own with cell phone power supplies. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm curious now. I gotta figure it out. Yes, she did. Yeah. I mean, what did Owen say? She's got the personality that she's got. It is how do you sit there and not take any of that in and not in any way acknowledge your part in it, you know? Um and then even to be argumentative because it was his sister that was saying like this is not this is a moment for some of you, and then Sarah takes umbrage and was like I resent that or whatever she said. It's this is forever, like prophetically, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You got to be a special kind of cold-blooded. Every time I see a suitcase, I think about the suffering that George went through. Sarah's actions really traumatized me. I never thought one person could do such a thing to another person. Yeah. Uh, oh, does she? Okay. Someone else. Did someone send me? I think I have to check her out. I have to. I feel like she popped up on my screen today because that name is ringing a bell. Um, in addition to someone else saying it. If you point a fan of the ceiling, it works kind of like a ceiling fan and it will move the heat back down. Okay. I live on the top floor too, so it's not there's it it's chilly, but it's okay though. My next place, I want heated floors. Who decorated their room with towels? Yes, bookworm. Don't do crime. Stay warm. Yes, yes. It's really weird though too because it's the rest of the room is dark and you can see I've got this light like right in my eyes. But it's cool. It's all good. All right. I just wanted to read those to you guys. I don't have anything else. I don't want to keep you. We can get back to the lovely world of digging into other people's business and then get back together again later. Thank you for popping in and saying hello. I appreciate all you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of MLK Day if you're here in the US. And if you're not, just have a great, Monday night. I'll talk to you later. Toodles.